Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I cover nostalgic, obscure, or otherwise strange content. Today, I want to return to the Wishbone series. A while back, probably over a year ago now. Why is there hair on the mic? It's a red hair, so I cannot blame it on anybody else. Probably over a year ago now, I covered an episode of Wishbone. We all remember Wishbone, right? The little dog that loved to read. It was a PBS show, and it also was a whole bunch of books that I've been incorporating into my collection of middle grade chapter books and reading them on live. And this all started because a viewer of the channel, Patrick, hello Patrick, sent me this copy of The Super Adventures of Wishbone, Sleepy Hollow. Wait, I have it right here. This book. Look at the little Ichabod Crane as a dog. Look at Wishbone. But anyway, we read this on stream. I think we read it over the course of 2 streams, and it was really fun, except for that one part where there was a racial slur, but we read around that part.
She was dressed in a, we don't say that word.
Other than that, it was very fun. And I got lots of requests to cover the coinciding episode in a video. And I've been meaning to return to Wishbone for a while. I need to really just cover, like, all of the Wishbone, if I can. But today, we're covering the Sleepy Hollow episode of Wishbone. What is this channel? Mr. Mortman's Library? This is so cute! It's a whole channel about Goosebumps books? I love this, and his channel trailer is the books on the— oh, that's so cute. I'll subscribe and come back later, Mr. Mortman. I'm sorry, I'm having an ADHD moment in the middle of trying to film a video. Okay, and this is an hour-long special. I don't think they all were. I remember the last one I covered being the Sherlock Holmes one, which was about half an hour, I think. Or maybe I'm just misremembering because it was a while ago. Feature presentation! Woo!
What's the story, Wishbone? Do you think it's worth a look?
Alright, I gladly welcome the Wishbone theme song being in my head like it always is anytime I see or hear or think about Wishbone. Not just because, for some reason, that opening song from 6 is in my head, but not the whole song, just the part where it's like, prick up your ears on the Catherine who lost her head.
For my promiscuity outside of wedlock, up your husbands.
What's the story, Wishbone?
Wishbone is so cute, I can't handle it. Legends of Sleepy Hollow was a favorite of mine as a kid. That everybody acted like it was weird when I was a kid, but now I know that lots of kids love this story. It's just a good story.
Nothing better than taking Wishbone for a nice long walk on a brisk autumn day.
Okay, so right off the bat, Wishbone is walking down the street, realizing that the spooky vibes are out.
Something... edible! Ah!
Ah, yes, this is also like the book. So he, with his supersonic Wishbone hearing, hears the mom in the middle of dropping a cookie and runs all the way back home to grab it in time. I remembered this while we were reading. I don't think I said it when we were reading it on live, but as I was reading it, I had like this flashback memory to the show.
Wishbone, where have you been? The very first day of practice and you weren't there.
So Joe comes back from basketball practice. He's salty because Wishbone wasn't there. He's his good luck charm. He's very superstitious.
Ooh, something definitely reeks in this vicinity.
Joe, what is that?
Sorry, Mom. They're my practice socks, my lucky ones.
His socks smell really gross because it's the same lucky pair of socks that he keeps wearing and not washing because bad luck.
Why don't you take them off and put them in a special place? Outside the house.
Gross.
Ha-ha! Throw a long one, Joe! Woohoo! Look-ta-da!
He goes and plays catch with Wishbone.
Wishbone! Wait! No!
And then the ball goes over the fence into the creepy house's yard. You know, like that creepy abandoned house on the end of the street that like every neighborhood seems to have. At least in 90s TV. It goes over there and Joe gets freaked out.
A spell like the one that hung over a place called Sleepy Hollow.
Now we get the first segue into the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Wishbone has the best segues. I love this dog.
Way back in 1819, American author Washington Irving wrote a short story called The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Where does the ghost of Sleepy Hollow take place, Wishbone?
The story was set in the quiet hills along the Hudson River, not long after the American Revolution.
What's the Legend of Sleepy Hollow about, Wishbone?
Anyone who lingered in that drowsy, dreamy glen called Sleepy Hollow would inhale the witching influence of the air and begin to hear strange sounds and see frightful apparitions.
Is the story about one spirit in particular?
The most famous of these apparitions was the ghost of a soldier whose head was taken off by a cannonball during the Revolutionary War.
Oh yeah, what does he do?
Legend has it that the spirit of this headless horseman rides forth each night in search of his head.
And then we see Wishbone as Ichabod Crane. Look at him with his little schoolmaster bell.
Oh, if only young Jebediah had known
And his bad British accent, I love him.
that after you break a mirror, you must walk in a circle to reverse your bad luck.
Should I start listing off all the superstitions I know from my witchy superstitious family?
Not to be confused with a black cat crossing your path.
If you're brushing your hair and you drop a comb, according to my grandmother, you're supposed to step on it before you pick it back up, even if it lands in the sink. Good luck with that one.
Who here knows why we ring a bell to begin each day?
Because it keeps the bad spirits away.
To call us into the classroom?
No, not at all.
He's like, nah, I don't care if you're here, kid.
We ring the bell to drive away demons and spirits.
I just care that the ghosts aren't here. Alright, here we are back in 90s world of Wishbone.
Wait here, Wishbone. I won't be long.
I feel like Joe really takes advantage of how well trained Wishbone is.
I think I found the perfect one.
Oh, Wishbone, I just said you were well trained. Bless him. Oh, broke a law.
So, another victim of the haunted rim.
Wait, so did the thing just go off because he missed?
I guess I'm a little off today.
So there's like a sensor that's like, haha, you missed the shot, loser. That's harsh.
My name's Travis Del Rio. What's
Hi.
yours?
I'm Joe Talbot.
So we meet the store owner. He has a niece and nephew living with him in this firehouse turned sports goods store.
Have you signed up for the scavenger hunt yet?
What's scavenger hunt?
Lo and behold, there is a Halloween scavenger hunt, which sounds awesome.
Hey, if you like my haunted rim, you'll love my scavenger hunt.
Ever since I got too old for trick-or-treating, I've wanted something that gives me the feel of trick-or-treating, like an activity.
And the first prize is a $100 gift certificate.
And I'm not too big on drinking. Scavenger hunt sounds like something my speed.
I always wear the same pair of socks at practice, for good luck.
Say no more, Joe. Those shoes are behind glass for a reason.
Alright, so Joe's superstitions reminds him more of Ichabod Crane.
Oh, no, don't hurt me.
My, you're a jumpy fellow.
What? Oh, yes. How do you do?
This is part of the story where Ichabod meets Katrina Van Tassel. If you know anything about the story, you know that he wants to marry her, which we talked about this on live. It's awkward when we're supposed to be seeing him as a dog, but he's imagining himself as himself, but as a person. You know what I mean. It's a dog's imagination. Just roll with it.
Is that really a big farm?
Yes.
I know it's technically less work, but I commend them for never trying to animate Wishbone's lips, because that would have ruined everything.
This is Mather's book of witchcraft in New England. Most fascinating.
Look at him in his smart little kerchief.
Why, please, come have dinner with us, Mr. Crane, and you can tell me on the way.
So they go back to her family farm.
Look at all the food.
Katrina's family really is ballin'.
You'd be surprised at the supernatural exhibitions I've witnessed.
And then she invites him back to tell her ghost stories the next day. Look at his little hat!
I think that went rather well.
It was cute in the illustrations of the book, but it's even cuter now.
What is it about this day, Wishbone? Last year on Halloween, I sprained my ankle so bad I couldn't play basketball for a month.
Joe, I don't understand how you don't love Halloween. Halloween is the best.
Oh, will you look at the nerve of that furball?
Oh no.
In my family, we say that black cats are extra lucky because all cats are lucky. But black cats are extra lucky, and normal people just can't handle it, so they just say they're bad luck. There's never been a cat that this family doesn't love.
If you expect the worst, though, you just might find it.
But if I expect the worst, then I'll never be disappointed, Mom. Isn't that the point?
I'm pretty sure you'll have a lot more fun tonight if you expect the best.
Pessimism always. Kidding.
Wishbone, where's your costume?
Huh? A dog wears silly costumes? I think not.
Man, it's funny because he's always wearing a costume. You get the it's a Wishbone joke.
Piedmont. What are you supposed to be? Your worst nightmare.
There's this guy who's like the bully and his little kid brother.
We're gonna win, because I used to go on scavenger hunts all the time.
Can it, Jimmy? You may be my cousin, but you're only here because my mom made me bring you.
No, sorry, cousin. Bully's cousin.
I'm an alien, but not the kind from the movies. This is what they really look like. A friend of mine got abducted by them, and he said...
Ladies and gentlemen.
This poor kid really does just get the worst deal in the book and probably also in this special, because so far it's been pretty similar.
Such competition, but only one prize. Ichabod Crane sought only one prize as well.
Alright, so with the scavenger hunt about to start, we see the next part of Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear boy. Would you like me to tell Katrina that she cannot have her singing lessons today?
I love his Ichabod Crane voice. It is perfect for Ichabod Crane because Ichabod Crane is kind of a little bitch, and the voice is just like so like snooty.
Oh, good evening, dear Katrina.
I can't hate him when he's being played by Wishbone though. So all the guys in the county are lined up like, please marry me, Katrina. Love me, Katrina. And then who shows up but Brom Bones?
Maybe a moonlight ride by the brook.
Excuse me, but I don't believe that would be wise.
Ichabod and Brom immediately have a rivalry for Katrina's attention.
Well, if it isn't Mr. Ichabod Crane.
I think at this point everybody knows that I am a Brom Bones apologist a little bit, as well as I at Ichabod Crane pretty heavily, so my standing thing is that at least in most adaptations, Brom is kind of just the Jim Halpert of the situation, where Ichabod Crane is the Dwight Schrute.
Oh, it would seem that you have no concern for her safety whatsoever.
Like, we're supposed to see him as the bad guy, but Ichabod Crane is really, like, slimy, so I kind of just see Brom as, like, the guy who's just trying to teach him a lesson. But we'll get back to that. There's a caveat to that thought, but I am getting ahead of myself.
If you follow the flamingos to a deafening roar, you won't be left behind.
Okay, so they solve the first riddle, which leads them back to the neighbor's house. This is where the racial slur happened in the book. Let's see if it's the same here, so just be warned.
Wonder what the future holds?
Looking at the costume that this character is wearing, you probably all can guess what the slur was. Whether they use it or not, it's probably still very offensive. I'm not Romani, and I'm not a scholar by any means on this topic, but from what I've gathered from people from the community, fortune teller costumes are inherently offensive because it's basically taking pieces of traditional clothing from the Romani people, stereotyping them, and then making a caricature of a person who is known to be untrustworthy. Like, fortune tellers are often portrayed as, like, not the most trustworthy people, so all of that wraps up into a big racial stereotype that's highly offensive. That's the way that I have come to understand it. And any Romani people watch this video and feel like weighing in, feel free to share your opinion. Not that that's your responsibility, but obviously take the community's word for it, not mine. Nope. I was about to say they've been skipping over the slur, but nope, there it is on the sign.
Besides, I've been in Wanda's house once, and once was enough.
The 90s, where people were comfortable just letting kids walk into strangers' homes.
It looks like one of them falls when you hit the right target.
How do we know which one? We only have 3 shots.
Alright, they've got 3 shots at this little mini game.
Hey! No cat crosses my territory twice in one day!
Meanwhile, Wishbone's still chasing that cat. Leave the cat alone, Wishbone. Ooh, that was bars. Wishbone bars. Sorry.
We only have 1 shot left.
No pressure.
Great shot, Sam.
But Sam makes a shot, they get their next clue.
Nice shooting. Thanks for solving the riddle for me.
The bully has followed them because he's cheating.
Wishbone?
And then they lost Wishbone.
I think your luck just ran out.
And then they get like a one-liner from the bully kid.
Kitty, 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 kitty! Come on down! Good kitty! Come on!
They find Wishbone tormenting the poor defenseless kitty. Well, actually, as a cat owner, I have to say, cats can throw down. But anyway, they find Wishbone.
Follow Dart to the Derby, where the thoroughbreds and mixed breeds meet. If you don't want to lose, then you must choose an enchantress light on her feet.
And then they read the next clue, and we see the next part of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Mr. Crane, you must come quickly.
Lord Farquaad.
There's been a frightful event at the schoolhouse.
So Brom and this other guy rush in, and they're like, Ichabod, there's a ghost in the schoolhouse.
All right. I'll go.
And Ichabod is a very gullible little schoolmaster dog. But he follows them back to the schoolhouse.
A poltergeist has moved through here.
Oh, what?
Where everything's been messed up.
A poltergeist? A ghost? A spirit?
And he thinks it's a ghost, but obviously it's Brom and his friends pulling a prank.
Things are taking a turn for the worse.
Ichabod Crane is not fucking around. He's like, sound cleanse right now! More superstitions. Let's go with the classic. If your left palm is itchy, that means that you're gonna get money. If your right palm is itchy, then you're gonna meet somebody. If both are itchy, you're either gonna meet somebody who's gonna give you money, or you probably have some kind of rash, and I'm sorry about that.
Oh! Loud noise! Loud noise!
Alright, so we get another mini game that the kids have to play.
You have 30 seconds to choose the winning horse.
We have to pick a horse. Quick, let's read the clue again.
They argue about what the riddle means.
Pick the enchantress, not a broom.
Flying sorceress.
Could someone please pick up the cute little dog so he can see?
Wishbone just wants to be included.
The winner is Flying Sorceress.
And they win. Anybody who's there for my live stream play of Nancy Drew Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon is having flashbacks right now.
Loser.
Alright, so they get a token, they know that they have to go to the park.
Of course, this is where the carnival always sits at.
Oh, I thought we had gone back to Sleepy Hollow World, and I was like, they didn't have flashlights in the 1700s, you silly dog.
Purple, red, yellow, and blue.
It's the orange one.
What? Every year when the leaves are green, purple, red, yellow, and blue, no orange.
Solving this puzzle gets them a mousetrap style puzzle. We get the final clue. We're in the home stretch. I mean, we're not doing, but you know, we're along for the ride. We're with them in spirit.
Ichabod's luck was taking a turn for the better.
And now we go back to the Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Good of you to come, Mr. Crane.
Oh, thank you so much for your invitation.
Oh, he shakes paw. What a good boy. I hope all the dogs that played Wishbone got lots of treats and pets. The times where I've been on set, it's common for set dogs, like, you know, you want to train them to only go to certain people. So if you're not supposed to be interacting with them on camera, or in lieu of the person who's going to be interacting with them on camera, like a stand-in, which was my job, oftentimes you're instructed, like, to give them their space, don't go near them, which makes total sense, but I always felt sad, right? It's always like, oh, he's such a good boy, he needs pets. And then when I finally got to pet him, I'd be like, he is a good boy.
Care to bob for apples?
Bobbing for apples! What a delightful game!
You know, there's some old-fashioned traditions, and you might still bob for apples, but there are some traditions that I feel like are kind of losing their popularity and need to be brought back. I don't think bobbing for apples is one of those. After living through a pandemic, I can't see myself bobbing for apples ever again. Add that to the list of things COVID ruined, up there with buffets and talking to people. Who am I kidding? I didn't like to talk to people before.
Oh, wonderful.
I got one!
I would love to see the behind the scenes on how they train these dogs.
Would you like to try?
No, I'd rather not.
And Brom will be the only one not to die of plague, I bet.
We're a bit overdue for another sighting of the Headless Horseman.
Here we go, the story of the Headless Horseman.
What are your thoughts, Brom?
It's a bunch of nonsense, if you ask me.
Brom looks so familiar to me. I'm looking it up. Battery, you can't die until I find out who played Brom. Oh, he was on The Gifted. I worked on The Gifted. Maybe that's where I saw him. Anyway, sorry.
Brower told me that the horseman chased him all the way to the old church bridge.
Ah, Brower's a drunk.
They just call somebody a drunk in a children's show? PBS was awesome.
Brom, it surprises me that a man of your stature cannot see the significance of these signs.
So Brom doesn't believe in ghosts, and Ichabod does.
All right, folks. It's time for you to go to your own homes.
And then Ichabod and these two people get kicked out because they're the people at the party that just won't leave.
Where is Katrina?
She went to bed hours ago.
I never know how to politely tell somebody to leave when it's like way too late. It just sounds so mean to be like, well, time for you to get the fuck out of here.
I'm glad I don't have to walk through Sleepy Hollow on a night like this.
Every time somebody says a night like this, I flash back to, I posted it last Halloween, so a year ago. That horrible off-brand Rocky Horror Picture Monster Mash movie. And there was that one song that Candace Cameron Bure sings.
On a night like this, I whisper a little prayer.
And now and probably until the end of my life, I just hear, on a night like this, I whisper a little prayer. Every time somebody says on a night like this or something like that, I hate everything about my life choices.
If anyone can handle the Headless Horseman, it's Ichabod Crane.
I can?
Yeah, I believe in you, Ichabod. Okay, well, I feel cheated because in the book version, my boy was riding a horse. Sure, I know that dogs riding horses is probably very hard for a team of cameramen to pull off, but you know what? I wanted to see the dog riding a horse. I asked for so little.
Damont's already in there?
He's been in there an awful long time.
I feel so bad for this poor little kid. His cousin's just mean to him. He just wants to make friends.
I can't.
What do you mean you can't?
Joe doesn't want to go in because he's superstitious. Sam is like, this is a promotional contest. They're not going to send us in somewhere where we're going to die. That would be terrible for their business. Or I assume that's her reasoning for not being scared, because come on, that would be terrible for their business.
It happened a long time ago. The first Halloween that my mom let me go trick-or-treating without her.
Alright, Joe has trauma connected to this house.
Reached out to grab the doorknob, and then...
I don't blame him for being scared. You all know how I feel about the dark. I hate it.
Joe, it's the cat!
But then Wishbone runs into the house because he sees the black cat, so Joe runs in after Wishbone. He is a good pet parent. They find this creepy table of mummies. Then they get jump scared.
Whether he was ready or not, Ichabod Crane made a lonely trip home through that bewitched place called Sleepy Hollow.
Alright, so Ichabod Crane walks back on foot, paw, whatever he's going home on. It's not a horse, which is very disappointing.
Nothing to be afraid of. Just going for a very late walk on a very spooky evening.
I love that they incorporate his jingly little dog bell as like a superstitious thing because he wears it to ward off ghosts. Oh, right, superstitions. Well, I think everybody knows that you toss salt over your shoulder when you spill it, the thought process being that it'll land in the eyes of the ghost that's trying to sneak up behind you, and therefore they'll be like, ah, my ghost eyes, and then not haunt you. What's one that's a little bit more obscure that I can talk about? Oh, my granddad always says never to pour, like if you're pouring a drink out of a bottle, you always pour it this way. You never pour it like this way, just because that's bad luck.
Who are you?
It's the Headless Horseman!
The Headless Horseman! Ah!
And the poor little dog has to run for his life from this giant horse.
Please, don't hurt me! Don't hurt me!
Ooh, Ichabod might have gotten yeeted, or yoinked. I'm not sure which one applies in this situation. So the kids get locked in the closet by the bully.
One down, two to go.
Or one of them gets locked in the closet. The other two are running around the house trying to find Wishbone. Or the prize. They're trying to find one or both of those things.
Me! This is really getting on my nerves. Who keeps slamming doors around here?
Yeah, he doesn't have thumbs, damn it. Stop shutting him in places.
Demont!
Alright, so then Wishbone locks the bully in the closet, in a different closet, and then they let the friend out of the other closet.
He and Kitty should get along just fine.
He deserved it, Wishbone, it's fine.
David, you'll never guess what I did to Demont.
I like how he has no remorse. He's like, you'll never guess what I did. This was super awesome, bro.
Well, look at that. I'm not the only one who buries things around here.
And they find the gift certificate! Yay!
Guys?
Huh? What? Oh, great! Monsters! That's what was missing.
Oh, no. Are they gonna die? I probably should be scared, but I think I'm just too tired.
You won! Did we scare you?
Bully gets let out, cat goes running off, and then Joe realizes that that's the glowing eyes that he saw. It was a cat. And not a monster, probably. That's good. He's making a breakthrough.
No one knew what happened to Ichabod Crane that night. Some say he just moved away.
Back in Sleepy Hollow, people find evidence of the night before with a smashed pumpkin on the ground and Ichabod Crane having gone missing.
This is his bell, all right.
Oh, and his little bell is there. The bell could have fallen off. We don't know.
This ought to convince old Brom Bones.
Convince him of what?
Yeah, and they're a little bit more clear about what I always thought. We talked about this on stream. You know, because when I was a little kid, I used to think, oh, the Headless Horseman really was real and really did kill him. When I got older, I realized, oh, the ending is supposed to imply, I think, that Brom scared him off. or killed him. This is what we kind of debated, I think, on live. Right, because like the horse and the everything. And by the way, I think it's really clever how Washington Irving writes, because he never really tells you anything outright. He just lets you kind of put the pieces together, because it's kind of like an author saying, I know you're smart enough to get this on your own. And that's charming. But anyway, back to what I was saying before about being a Brom Bones apologist. All of that is null and void if we're accepting the canon that he murdered Ichabod, but I always just kind of thought he probably just ran him out of town, right? Because why would he bother killing him, right? The guy's scared of his own shadow. It would be pretty simple to just scare him away. They never found his body, although Brom probably could hide a body. And like the horse looks the same as Brom. Brom likes playing practical jokes, so I don't know. Hopefully you didn't die, Ichabod, but if you did, rest in peace, buddy.
What happened? Did you see a ghost? I bet you did. One time, a friend of mine, he went in there.
Don't say anything.
The kid just wants to talk, let him talk. Alright, so the winning team comes out, we're all very proud, and Joe learns that superstition doesn't really get you anywhere.
Looks like you're back in the zone after all.
Yes, sir.
It was your lucky day.
In the words of one of the greatest musicians ever, superstition ain't the way.
A drowsy, dreamy influence seems to hang over the land.
Alright, now we get a little mini rundown of Sleepy Hollow and its themes, which I always really enjoyed. Even as an adult, I kind of like seeing the themes in this like kind of book club format. Wishbone books really did help me love classic literature. Because there were so many books that I never would have read in any capacity if I was just given the regular version, but giving a kid the version where a cute little dog is gonna read the book with you basically is super fun.
To recreate this mysterious feeling on film, we called on the members of our lighting team.
Oh, we have the behind-the-scenes stuff. I forgot about that. I love this part of Wishbone.
The people who operate these lights are called electricians, and the top dog electrician is called the gaffer.
Shout out to all the electricians. I see you.
It's a really neat feeling to be on a dark set when there are no lights and to turn on that first light.
It's a hard job. I always, when I would do stand-in stuff and I would just sit there and just watch all of these people lugging around and rigging up all these like heavy lights and equipment, and meanwhile I'm just standing there because my job is just to stand there and recreate the scene for blocking purposes. I always felt so bad.
The gaffer and his lighting crew set up the lights, lay miles of cable, and hook everything up to a distribution box.
It's true. And if you're my brother, you never know how to call striking, which you're supposed to do to warn people that a light is going to come on in the darkness. And so when my brother is keying, then everybody's just temporarily blinded.
Let's play Catch the Kitty!
No, wait, Wishbone?
According to IMDb, this episode, Wishbone was portrayed by Soccer the dog. I feel like there would have been more than one dog per episode, so it's surprising to me that they're only listing one, but, I mean, if they could get all that done with one dog, good for them.
The top dog grip is called the key grip. He and his crew add patterns to change the way the light falls.
I like how these behind-the-scenes clips suggest that Wishbone is a huge star and knows it.
The script indicated a lot of lightning, so we rented a special light called a lightning strikes. It's easy. You plug it in and push a button.
Every lighting person is like, oh yeah, that easy.
Shine your light on a good mystery. Check one out at your local library.
I will, Wishbone, thank you. I'm pretty sure watching all of these behind-the-scenes things collectively added up to me wanting to be in the film industry, which I am in now. But even to this day, I'm just such a nerd for like how stuff gets made. I was really fortunate to get to shoot this short with my brother and a couple of really good friends this past week, and it's just so, I just have so much fun figuring out how to get the shot, you know? And I'm really lucky to work with a crew of people who are way more talented at it than me. Anyway, that's the end of the special. It was very faithful to this. This was just a literary version of this, which, you know, makes perfect sense. I'm not sure if the book came first or the episode, but either way, one was intended to be adapted into the other one all along, I'm sure. There's obviously more, just like in anything, there's more details in the book because they have more time. But all this to say, yeah, come watch our reading streams. We stream other things too. We obviously stream PC games and all kinds of nostalgic games and stuff like that. But lately, we've been reading through books in my collection of nostalgic books. We're calling it Avery's Home for Misfit Books because I just accumulate all of the books that kids have grown out of, and now I give them a second home in my collection and read them to you guys. And a lot of people from our community have been kind enough to send me books to grow said collection even faster, and we've gotten a lot of them, so yeah, it's gonna be super fun. I'm actually gonna be reading one of those Scooby-Doo books once I get off of filming this, so yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Everything you do to support this channel means the world to me. If you're a fan of nonsense, maybe consider sticking around because I post nonsense all the time. And remember, my name is Avery. I'm a YouTuber if you say so because thanks to you guys, this is technically a YouTube channel. Did you have a favorite episode of Wishbone? Or a favorite book adapted by Wishbone that you would read over and over and over again? The one that I kept reading over and over was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Maybe that should be the next episode that I cover of Wishbone.